combination. Never been basic, never ever been lazy. Wake up with it on my mind. They can't have no squares up at the round.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It has been tugging on my heart. Like I feel like I need to give you guys a better view of me, and I want to connect with you guys more. So I decided to tell my story because that's a big part of my fitness journey, because I feel like fitness literally saved my life. So I'm 34 now. I had to move back to my hometown, Louisiana. I had just turned 33, and I was in a wreck. I lost my car and I panicked. I had been staying in Austin for about 5 years, and I was in a relationship when I was there. The person I was with, we were planning on being together forever, but things did not go according to plans. And so we broke up. We had an apartment together. We both left the apartment because there was no point of us being there. I couldn't afford it. At that point, I didn't have a car because the car I had, it got towed. So that was that. Then we moved out. I went to go stay with a friend as I looked for an apartment that I can move in for myself. And as I was staying with my friend, I came back in contact with my ex, and we had started back talking, and we were talking about them coming back, and we were gonna live together again. We were gonna start over and do it again. And every time we tried to meet up and just feel for each other after months of not seeing each other, it was always something getting in the mix. And it was supposed to be an eye-opener for me, but it wasn't. I didn't pay attention, and whatever. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, so a couple months of staying with my friend, I ended up finding an apartment. And like I said, me and my ex were gonna come back together. So I ended up looking for a great apartment. I looked for something like that was nice and luxury. And the apartment ended up being like almost $1,500. So I'm like, okay, we can handle that together, you know. I signed the lease, I moved into the apartment, and after a month, after being in the apartment, I finally came to the conclusion, like, my ex is not coming back. So here I am with $1,500 rent, and I really can't afford it by myself. And for me, I try to make it like I can do things on my own, but I knew I needed help, but I just didn't want to ask my partner, because it's like, you said you were coming back. We're having conversations and you're not even talking about moving back, but please don't misinterpret it. I was doing great in Austin. When I quit my job, I was unhappy, but I was still making good money. When I say I was struggling in Austin, I was struggling emotionally. Financially, I was good. I was making ends meet. The $1,500 rent, I didn't want to just pay it by myself. I could pay it by myself because, like I said, I didn't even have a car, but I know I needed to get one. So I did need a cheaper apartment. So I just wanted to put that in there because I don't want it to seem like, yeah, I was just out here trying to go back somewhere while I was struggling. Anyway, moving forward, I started to become sad and lonely, and was working as a Head Start teacher. I loved my job. That was one of my favorite jobs. And I ended up quitting because I felt like it didn't hold value for me anymore. It didn't feel like I was connected to it. And then one day I was sitting in my apartment. I was like, let me just go look around and see what this apartment complex about, because I haven't really been outside. So I go and I see the gym. I'm like, okay, I like this. So I go in, I do a little stuff on the equipment, because when I was in my relationship, we did work out. So it wasn't really new to me. But anyway, so I tried to like start working out, but my emotions started to overwhelm me, because I started to equate working out with my partner, with my ex. So that was sad for me. I couldn't really face the gym. Then I ended up quitting my job, knowing I needed my job, but I quit because I let my emotions overpower me. And also I just felt like I was being used. I stated how I felt, and I felt like I wasn't being heard in my job. So one day I just ended up walking out, and I started to make that a habit. When I felt the way, if I felt like I didn't want to be there anymore, I quit. I don't know what made me think that I could just do that, but I was just doing that. So finally, I'm doing good. I was enjoying myself. I loved going downtown. Downtown was amazing. Me and my dog would go downtown. We would go eat. We would go to the park. We would go running. It was just a good time. But I ended up getting me a car, and everything was working out for me. But it's like I said, I started back tumbling down, but I didn't know I was tumbling down. I eventually started working out. I enjoyed it, and I work out like 3 days a week, and it was like fun for me. I got into content creation, and I've been creating content ever since. I enjoy it. I love it. I even started receiving like partnerships, and it was good for me. Working out really picked me up because I would cry myself to sleep at night, wondering why this person didn't love me, why they left me. I felt like I was nothing. Once again, I just felt like my life was missing something. So I started to pray, and I'm like, Lord, I want better. Can you please send me better? Can you help me find what is for me? And I can say that I was praying, but I wasn't praying with authority. I wasn't praying with the intent of believing that God would do. I was just praying because that's what, we're supposed to do. And it's like the more I prayed, the more bad stuff happened. Like I would quit jobs, and I finally was holding on to this one job, and I had to Uber, then I had to do Walmart. It was like a lot of things I had to do. I never got time to enjoy myself. I had just gotten a brand new puppy because the dog that I had with my ex, when we parted ways, I was just like, let's just keep the dog and I'll get my own dog. And I did that. So I had a dog, and it's like I still wasn't happy. Everything was just not okay for me. So here I am, working every day. When I get a day off, I'm miserable, right? So fast forward, I'm looking for a second job because I'm like, I can't put too much wear and tear on my car, because if I do that, then I'm not gonna have a car. So I decided to go fill out applications. I'm gonna fill out applications. I'm getting so many interviews, not getting the job. I'm like, God, why are you giving me interviews and not giving me the job? It's crazy. Like, it even got to a point where I was giving them I had my license and my social security for the paperwork, but then they would never call me back. And I'm like, this is crazy. Physically, I failed because I got so small. Financially, I failed because I started to quit jobs. I started to quit jobs so much that when I went to look for a job, when I really wanted to work, God wouldn't let me get the job. Fast forward, it was Juneteenth, and I was driving. I was off work, and I was headed home. I was like, okay, I'm done for the day. I get ready for work tomorrow, because I was off work. I was like, I'll get ready for work tomorrow. I was headed home, and this truck just boom, it hits me and totals my car, and I'm in the car like, wow, my first big wreck, and I'm just in shock. I'm just like, wow, this is really happening. So I ended up calling my stepdad, and he was like, hey, it's about to get hard for you. Don't give up. Be brave, And I was just like, okay, in a moment, cool. Got home, I laid down. The next day I went to the gym. I didn't go to work because I didn't have a weight. Then after that, I went to the gym. I kept going to the gym. I kept creating my content, just trying to stay focused. But then I ended up seeing I had an eviction notice on my door, and I panicked. And I was like, you know what? I gotta go back. I gotta go back to Louisiana. I gotta do something. I did not want to come back to Louisiana, because I knew that it wasn't really jobs here. I knew that I didn't have a car, and I just knew things were gonna be difficult. But it's like I panicked, and I just decided to come back. So I come back. I ended up staying with my uncle. Things got hectic with him. It's just like people started talking about me and my family. It was just a lie. So I was like, no. I had to leave from there. I went to a friend's house. I stayed with my friend for a couple of months. And I felt like that time was coming up. You gotta know when it's time to leave. So I ended up leaving my friend's house. And I had to move back in with my mom. So much trauma with my mom. So much drama with my mom. We never really got along. So here I am moving back in with somebody who I know this is not gonna be easy. It's so many things I've noticed that I was doing in Austin that I had no business doing, that showed me like, this is why you were going through this. Now you're here in Louisiana, you understand what you did wrong in Austin, so when you go back, you won't make those same mistakes. So it's not like I'm here trying to rush back and I'm not learning anything. I'm learning it all. Like, I'm learning how to be a better woman, how to be a better person, a better friend, a better cousin. Like, I want God to use me in spaces. I want to find a church home before I make it back. Me and my mom fought so much when I was growing up. We fought so bad. Like, we fought about things that probably didn't even matter. But it wasn't my place to defend my sister. My sister is grown as well, and she has to step up. And the more I pray, the more I ask God to cleanse my heart, to change me, to make me a better person for my mom, for my sister, for my family, period. And I feel like God has done that for me, even though I'm not where I want to be, even though I still don't have a job, I still don't have a car, I'm still, doing my content. My content some days, some weeks, it's bad, it's not good. I'm not getting the views I want, I'm not getting the followers, but I'm doing it all in God's timing. I'm trusting God to move in his way and move in his time and not my own, because he's shown me time and time again that even though you walk through this fire, you came out unburned. You're okay. And fitness literally saved my life, because had I not had fitness when I was in Austin, I would have been sitting in my apartment miserable every day, not going to the gym. I would have not even thought about content creation. I would have not had a couple of dollars that people were giving me to help them, So fitness saved my life. I'm praying more at this time. Before I moved back, when I was staying with my uncle, I was like, I'm going back to Austin. I'm going back. I'm not staying here. Getting out of here. But God was like, no, girl, you gotta sit down. And never really understood. I was watching Pastor Philip Anthony. I was watching this other woman on YouTube. I can't think of her name. I'm so sorry. I love her. I watch her so much. I'm gonna list it above. But anyway, I was just reading my Bible and I started to understand things more. I started to see why things were happening when they were happening when I was in Austin and God wasn't giving me what I asked for. What is the word? I'm becoming more knowledgeable in God. So here I am. I'm ready to go. So I started praying Lord, help me to get back on my feet. And everything was a lot when I first moved in with my mom. I put a shit on myself, you're not gonna disrespect me, because I know how my mom was and I'm so much like her. I remember my sister used to call me about things that she had going on with my mom, but she was still my mom. She had things going on. I felt like my mom was picking on my sister, and my sister was a sensitive person, so I felt like I needed to defend her. We had got into a couple fights, and it was Kendra, you have to chill because you're staying in your mom's house. This is your, this is not your home. You have to respect her. But my flesh was just so wounded. It was so hurt. I was so angry when I first got here. I did not want to be here. So it's I was just fighting myself, fighting the idea. But I finally let go and just let myself to just I'm here, right? And I have been single. I have been practicing abstinence for 10.5 months now. And I'm really proud of myself, because it wasn't a time where I didn't have somebody. It wasn't a time where I wasn't having sexual encounters. And I always knew that people didn't want me for me to be with me. They only wanted me for what I could offer them. And I was fine with that, because I was telling myself, well, I want to do it too, so it's okay. But sitting in isolation, get to know myself, let me know that I'm more than what people think of me. I'm more than what I think of myself. I am important. I am a beautiful girl. I deserve the world. Someone is praying for me. Someone is waiting for me to be their wife, the mother of their children. I had to put those things in my head, so I let myself know you are worth more than what you think you are. And when I started doing that, I started I was a smoker, and I'm not gonna say that I'll stop easily, because I had stopped at the beginning of the year in January, but I went back June, because I went to Austin. I had job interviews set up. I went, got the job. I didn't have a car. I still don't have a car. And I went because I drove my sister's car. I did the interviews and I got both jobs, right? I got both jobs. I was gonna stay. I panicked. I was like, I don't have anywhere to go tonight. I didn't want to just keep spending money, so I didn't want to get a room. I was being selfish with the money that I had, and I had money. I could have gotten a room, but I didn't do it. So I was like, you know what? I panicked. I was like, I'm just gonna leave. I didn't do all I needed to do when I got here. I didn't plan out my trip correctly. I didn't make sure I could stay with somebody. I didn't plan for a hotel. I just got here and just thought about the interviews. Interviews is over. It's hot. It's super hot in Texas, and I knew that, but I was just so anxious to get here and ready to start, but it just didn't work out for me. So here I am, come back, and that is when I go to my friend's house. I'm like, I want to smoke, and he like, are you sure? He's trying to talk to me. I'm like, no, I just want to smoke. I smoked for 3 days straight. I cried. I just felt so far from God. I felt like I disappointed him. And a couple days later, I got back on track. I was reading my Bible daily. I ended up finding a church with my cousin. I love my church. It's so amazing. I ended up going, and I've learned to calm myself down. I've learned to not let my emotions control me. Living with my parents have not been the easiest, because there has been things that happened in my childhood that no one knows, and maybe another video I'll talk about that. But right now I just don't have the capacity. I'm not just ready yet, but if you're someone who feels like they need to go back home, they need to move back in with their parents, don't suffer in silence. Don't be like me and stay there and spend up all your money and then decide to move back. Move back when you can, so you can help yourself. Moving back here, I don't have a car. I don't have a job. So I'm still unemployed. I'm still depending and leaning on God, trying to stay faithful in my suffering season. I'm trying to learn how to suffer well. Just trust God in the fire, in the lion's den, right? And I'm learning to hear God's voice, and I want you to learn to hear God's voice. I'm still posting my content because God is still good. I'm still pushing forward because God is still good. He kept his promise. He keeps his promises. He's not going to stop. Sometimes God is not going to give you the answer that you want. Sometimes God is not going to stop your suffering, but he will give you peace in your suffering. And I feel like I've had peace. Some days are heavier than others. Sometimes I feel like nobody understands me. Next day I feel like people love me. Then the next day I feel like my life is just falling all apart all over again. But God is showing me that if I keep trusting him, if I keep focusing on him, then things will keep getting better. And I do believe that in my mind. So working out really saved my life. I go to the gym 4 times out of this week. I've changed. When I first started going to the gym here, it was so hard for me to go. I was judging, and I thought that I was humble when I was in Texas, but turns out I was not humble. Like, I had nothing to be humbled about. I have humbled myself so much. I don't judge people like I used to judge people. I see people for people, because you will fail. I failed, and it's okay. You just have to get back up and keep going. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to keep going, to keep pressing. I'm here, and I hope that I'm connecting with my subscribers. I hope you guys are loving my videos. If you want me to post more, let me know what you want me to post. I'm coming up with a series now on nutrition, because I want to focus on the inner side more than the outer side of fitness. And I hope you guys will tune in. I hope this video helps someone to stay encouraged and to not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and move back in with your parents if you need to. Until next time.